Not to be conceited, but are we the best? Okay, maybe we aren't the best of the best, but the SEC is looking fantastic as we inch closer to conference play. With a few games left until Christmas break, every team in the SEC has a winning record, with the exception of one, and the majority are winning over 70% of their games. While many may chalk this up to easy non-conference schedules or not getting into the meat of the schedule yet, this may mean that we have a very intense and competitive conference outlook on our hands.
I don't know about y'all, but I want to win a national championship.
It is not unfinished business any longer. South Carolina has captured its second national championship. Kim Mulkey, in year 2, has orchestrated a turnaround for the ages.
Let's jump into our recap before we get deep into the what could be. Our games to watch last week included Georgia versus Georgia Tech, the Lady Bulldogs coming up short against their in-state rivals at home. If you watch our regular show, you already know that I am a stickler when it comes to free throws, and the Bulldogs did not get that memo. Shooting just 42% from the line and missing out on 12 points, the Bulldogs could have closed the gap and been up 1 in a perfect world. Unfortunately, the world isn't perfect, and neither are free throws. With Tech winning the battle of the boards, the turnover differential, and shooting at a higher clip from the field, the Bulldogs could not hold out for a win, taking a 64-53 loss against Georgia Tech. Another big game I pointed out was Florida against Michigan. Unlike the men's side, this game was relatively boring. The Lady Gators took a marginal win over the Wolverines at 82-65. The Gators had an excellent scoring night, shooting over 57% from the field and almost 53% from three. Aliyah Matharu absolutely holding it down with 27 points on the night, 4 rebounds, and 4 steals. She was a machine for this Gators team. Rashaya Kyle also coming up with a big game, pulling down 11 boards and adding 13 points of her own. A statement win for this Lady Gators team to lead into the new year. As I mentioned, these teams are looking very promising coming out of non-conference play. We've obviously heard a lot about LSU and South Carolina, but checking up on the rest of the SEC field, we have a lot of wins. Looking at Alabama, the Crimson Tide is currently at a 12-2 record. The Arkansas Ladybacks sit at 10-3, Auburn at 10-2, Florida Lady Gators sitting at an 8-3 record after their win over Michigan, Georgia with 8-3 as well. LSU, of course, at 12-1, with their only loss being the opening night. Ole Miss sitting at 8-3, Mississippi State at 12-2, Mizzou at 8-4, South Carolina at 11-0, Texas A&M 11-1, and Vanderbilt hanging on at 11-1 as well. Now you may be thinking to yourself, Maddie, that's only 12 teams and we have 14 in the conference. I did mention a team without a winning record, which Kentucky holds at 5-7. Along with that, one of the teams that we expected to be a title contender this season, the Tennessee Lady Vols, are at a shocking 6-5. While we don't want to count these two teams out completely, it does seem that they aren't quite the caliber of the rest of the conference currently. The Lady Vols having some issues with injury and learning how to play around that. Hopefully we'll see them pick it up as the season goes on. But regarding the rest of the conference, this could mean a number of things. With a competitive conference, this can help your net rankings tremendously, but it could also be dangerous if you get on a string of losses because you are playing such great competition. It could also mean that we don't see as many SEC teams in the NCAA tournament. Or it could mean that the SEC absolutely dominates the tournament. Experience gets you a long way in March, and many of these teams will have an abundance of experience playing higher talent, higher caliber teams when they get to March, considering that several top 25 teams will be sitting inside of their conference as we get down to it. It's definitely something that we will have to watch out for as we draw closer to tournament time when we get into the meat of who's going to make it and who's not. They are updating the bracketology every week. I checked it Not much different from last week when we discussed who's looking at getting in right now, who's out. So we'll get into that after the new year picks up as we head into conference play. Now, before I get far too deep into the conversation of how great this conference is, let's go ahead and take a look at some games ahead. On Thursday, 12/21, Ole Miss will travel to Pine Bluff and take on UAPB. While normally we wouldn't pay much attention to this game, UAPB had a major upset beating the Arkansas Ladybacks at home. With a home court advantage, this could definitely be a trap game for Ole Miss, sitting as one of the best teams in the conference. Ole Miss will definitely have to shut down Zia Green, who is Pine Bluff's leading scorer, rebounder, assist leader, and averages the most steals per game. Zia Green isn't a one-woman show, though. Maury Davenport also averaging 1.1 blocks per game with 6 points per game and 6.2 rebounds per game. So definitely some big names to watch out for those Ole Miss fans. Other games slated for Thursday include Arkansas at UIC, Lipscomb at Kentucky, Ball State at Georgia, and Kansas City at Mizzou. After Thursday, we have a long stretch until we see any more women's basketball. The women's side picks back up on December 29th. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic week and a great Christmas. Happy holidays to all, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss any uploads on the Hoop Southbound page. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.